Glimmora is a Pokemon that started seeing usage on offensive teams in competitive singles almost immediately, and has remained a pivotal member of offensive team structures since day one. Rock-type special attackers are not very common. The most successful example from history is probably Mega Diancie from back in Gen 6 and 7. There was also Nihilego, who was solid, but fell just short of reaching OU status. What makes Glimmora different? Why is this the most successful special attacking rock type in years? Let's take a look. Check out my second channel linked in the pinned comment for Pokemon Showdown ladder gameplay, and like this video and subscribe to the channel for more informative content about competitive Pokemon. Glimmora has a great offensive move pool, access to Stealth Rock and Spikes, and even an all-new form of hazard removal with the move Mortal Spin. It also has an excellent special attack stat and pretty decent speed, but these qualities alone wouldn't explain what makes Glimmora so good. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are games full of extremely powerful new signature abilities, and Glimmora's ability is definitely one of them. This new ability, Mortal Debris, scatters toxic spikes onto the enemy's field whenever Glimmora is hit by a physical attack. This is a really great ability. Toxic spikes are a decent hazard, but the biggest issue with them is that they can be removed from the field if a poison type switches in. Spending 1 or 2 turns making your toxic spikes can end up being a total waste when they can be removed with a simple Pokemon switch. The ability to set toxic spikes without having to waste an entire turn doing so is very good. You can defensively switch in, take a physical hit, which creates a toxic spike, and then force out whatever just hit you. You've now made a hazard and regained momentum. Offensive teams in Pokemon are all about momentum. You want to be threatening the enemy and forcing them to respond to what you're doing on most turns of the game. Every turn counts on offensive teams. This passive ability to create hazards on the field without even spending a turn doing so is a dream come true for offensive teams. Even if the enemy has poison types on their team to remove toxic spikes, this passive hazard generation is still valuable. By creating toxic spikes, you're putting the enemy between a rock and a hard place. They now have to go to their poison type if they want to remove the hazards, unless they want to get poisoned. If you have toxic spikes on the field and an offensive Pokemon on your team that threatens their poison type, it starts to get difficult for the enemy. They have to decide between removing the toxic spikes and potentially losing their Pokemon to a super effective hit, or responding to the threat with something else and getting poisoned, which cripples that Pokemon for the remainder of the game. Both choices result in an advantage for you. Glimmora is mostly used as a hazard stacking Pokemon with a focus sash, since it has access to both Spikes and Stealth Rock. It can absolutely spam hazards, and even while it's getting hit, it's creating toxic spikes on top of that. With offensive coverage moves as well as Mortal Spin to remove enemy hazards, Glimmora is one of the best openers in the game for offensive teams. Terra Grass can be a nice early Terrastalize option to become resistant to ground and enhance the damage of Energy Ball, which lets you get the jump on Great Tusk, Gen 9's most common rapid spinner. Glimmora can also be used to great effect as an all-out offensive threat with a Choice Scarf or a Choice Specs. This Pokemon's offensive move pool is very good, and when the enemy is expecting you to make hazards, they won't be accounting for your wider coverage options and increased damage output, which can get you a lot of surprise KOs. With Power Gem, Sludge Wave, Energy Ball, and Earth Power, you threaten massive damage on so many different common Pokemon. And while you're doing that, you are of course creating toxic spikes on the field whenever they hit you with physical moves. This is a very overwhelming Pokemon that enhances offensive teams tremendously, and is also a very logical partner with the new Pokemon Goldengo, who can block both Rapid Spin and Defog to keep all those hazards up. The metagame will shift a lot after the release of Pokemon Home, but I'm pretty confident Glimmora won't be going anywhere. This is a fundamentally good Pokemon that I'm sure will continue to define the offensive teams of this generation. What do you think of Glimmora? It's pretty annoying, isn't it? What's your favorite way to handle this offense-enabling beast? What has been your favorite new Pokemon to use in Gen 9? And what would you like me to talk about next? Let me know down below in the comments. And thank you for watching. Check out my second channel, linked in the pinned comment, for Pokemon Showdown ladder gameplay videos. Like this video and subscribe to the channel for more informative content about competitive Pokemon. Thank you to the patrons. If you'd like to see a team that you built feature in one of my videos, or request a video topic for me to cover, take a look at my Patreon link in the description for more information.
The money got different 'cause of what I'm spending. The money got different
Oh, it's
'cause of what
Megaphone!
I'm spending. The money
KO'd
got
by one
different.
hit. It
Cause
scattered
of what
Spike.
The money got different. Cause of what I'm spending.